it's me, Lucy Spills. So, a creator here on YouTube that I've been watching and supporting for a very, very long time has kindly come to join me on my channel and give us some juice about Haz and Meggie Poos. Excuse me here on my camping chair, we're just doing the house up. But anyway, let's dive in with none other than Stef The Alter Nerd. Everything I talk about in my videos is my opinion only, so sit back, relax, grab yourself a cuppa or a drink of your choice and enjoy. I am with you on the surrogacy thing, and it does take me back to the 3 different stories as well of her miscarriage that she had, and we all saw the flattening moon bump as well. So I'm just wondering on your thoughts on the surrogacy.
So, first and foremost, whoever's watching, do your research, come to your own conclusions. Yeah. When I did my own research, I came to the conclusion that Megsie was not pregnant with Archie or Lilibet. Mm-hmm. The bump's supposed to be up here where your belly is, not down to your freaking knees. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We've seen pictures. Yeah. We've seen the videos. There's just something wrong with it all. It just doesn't look right. No. I firmly believe that she did use a surrogate. And, on the day of the birth of, let's say, Prince Archie, there's a few things that kind of ring alarm bells. First and foremost, the announcements in front of Buckingham Palace were not signed. The second thing is that there was confusion as to where baby Archie was being born in the first place, right? And I think there was that confusion, and there was no confirmation of the actual hospital because they didn't want the media to go to the hospital to bump into, and we'll call it the alleged surrogate. And, the third reason when we look on the day of the birth of Archie, why I think, this was not a real pregnancy if you just look on the day of it, is that she tries her hardest, as far as I'm concerned, to cosplay Princess Diana. One of the most iconic Princess Diana moves is to step out on the front step of the hospital and present the baby to the world. You think a narcissistic nutbag like Megsie's gonna be avoiding that? I don't freaking think so. No. If we go around full circle as to why we're talking about a pregnancy now, so in the first episode of a podcast, Confessions of a Female Flounder, whichever side you're on, turns round and she says to her guest, who's the founder of Bumble, that she suffered from preeclampsia. Now, we don't know whether that was, allegedly, with Archie or Lilibet, but how can she suffer from pregnancy-related illness when I don't even believe she was pregnant in the first place? Exactly. And then, secondly, I did a little bit of research because I remembered when Duchess Sophie gave birth to Lady Louise, and that pregnancy, the birth in particular, I remember it being reported in the media, and it was absolutely horrific. And so I went back to those reports and I read through it. And by all means, anyone that's watching, if you want to know the full story, head on over to my channel because of course. I am claiming it as an exclusive. It's not every day I do it. But it's essentially my exclusive is that, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, conspiracy theory or whatever, Megsie stole her preeclampsia story from Duchess Sophie. Why? Because when you look at the reports, it's confirmed that Duchess Sophie, she suffered from a particular pregnancy complication. And this pregnancy complication is a symptom of preeclampsia. Now, it's not being confirmed outright that Duchess Sophie had preeclampsia with Lady Louise. But odds on, looking at the research, she did. So I look at that, I think, well, hang on a minute. We all know Megsie's penchant for copying people, as far as we're concerned. Would she think twice copying from someone who went through a horrific pregnancy ordeal?
Not at all.
to try and victimise herself and be like, I went through something horrible too during my, as far as I'm concerned, fake pregnancy.
Yeah, yeah. Also, going back into like the surrogacy, do you ever think? I don't know. We or I don't know if you are on this bandwagon, but I believe a divorce will happen very, very soon. And
yes.
Do you think, because they're so far down, I will never use the full name of Lily just because of the late Queen, respectfully asking people, I mean, if people want to use it, that's a name, you know, it's up to them, it's fine, but she did respectfully, and in my opinion, she stole that name to say, oh, it's mine, I can do that. So when this divorce does happen, do you think he will, because they're so far down, they're 7th and 8th in the line of succession, do you ever think he will come out and say about if it was a surrogate?
No.
No.
He won't. No, he won't. He won't do that, but there are talks, and, you know, again, I've reported it on my channel that once Prince William ascends to the throne, that he's planning to A, take their titles from them, but B, also, you know, do a letters patent and rearrange the line of succession, which has happened in the past.
Yeah.
Times.
Yes.
So there is precedent for it.
Yeah. And also, the pseudo-feminist, as we're going on to copying, you know, and cosplaying, like you said, Duchess Sophie, I just want to say with Confessions of a Female Founder, if you just called it, she's copied 3 other women with that. I did a bit of research. I mean, I can't go into it. I've not written it down, but she's copied 3 other women with that as well. Yeah, so I have put, it's a little short on my channel about it, but she's I have named everyone, and on X there is a clip of there's a small YouTuber that she stole that content from using the exact same name. So yeah, so this feminist seems to copying all these women's kind of stories, and it just fascinates me. I don't know if that's what first sparked your interest in Meggie Poos, as I call her, just because of their constant, because I read Lady C's book, and she with an interview with her, she said it was so hard to write because their narrative just changes all the time. And like as we go from the Oprah interview with their race card, and then 2 years later, oh, it was unconscious bias. So it's like, so this feminist, she just keeps stealing all these women's content, and it just fascinates me. And I don't know if that sparked your interest to start with. That was quite convoluted. No. I know that was.
The reason why I got into reporting on them is because essentially my nationalist pride. So the main problem with Hazza and Megxie for me is, well, one of the main problems I'd say, but the one that really got me into this is that they were attacking the royal family. The problem with that is that when you attack the royal family, you are attacking the British culture, British identity. You're attacking us. Because the royal family, whether you agree with their existence or not, they are part of our British identity and British culture. If you attack the royal family, you're attacking our British identity and our British culture. And I'm just not going to have that. No. Not at all. No. Especially when it's full of lies, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of their attacks against the royal family have largely been debunked.
Exactly. So much of it. And I call the Oprah interview a tell-all of lies, as she threatened to do, as the late Queen did give them a year to reconsider. She threatened this tell-all of lies, and that's why I think she is obsessed with security, and it's all about status. Is that your opinion also?
It's all about status for Megxie. Absolutely everything, as far as I'm concerned. Status to try and elevate her more and more and more. You know, when she says she tries to elevate the ordinary to make it extraordinary or something along those lines. She's really saying that about herself, really, at the end of the day, is what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, we go around full circle here because, you know, they left the royal family, and at the moment, you know, that has all come out again over the last 24 hours with Prince Harry and his current appeal for the UK security situation, where yesterday it came out where he turned around and said, oh yeah, we left the royal family because, you know, the institution was just not protecting us correctly or in the right way that we felt was appropriate. But he's now coming back and fighting to get that protection back that he had from the institution in the first place when he was in the royal family, that he originally deemed was insufficient and therefore had to leave in the first place. It makes absolutely zero sense.
Really doesn't.
This whole kind of security argument that has us trying to get down at the moment.
Yeah. He's become very litigation happy since 2018, hasn't he? I'd say.
Just a bit.
Yeah, just slightly. Lastly, while I've got you, Steph, I just want you to elaborate a little bit more, because I did watch your recent YouTube on the recent scandal in Centre Bali. Now, I loved your theory on that. Can you please elaborate?
Which theory? I got a couple.
Oh, yeah. So the one you just did on... So he made a statement, and his statement was very narc, I'd say, against... And gaslighting, okay. I'd say, us. I'd say he was really gaslighting us public.
Yeah, so... for those that don't know, I've got a degree in international relations and security studies. For part of that degree, for 3 years, I did what's called conflict resolution, which is essentially the art of negotiation. So a lot of that is learning about language, how language is used, somewhat linguistic analysis, but not too in-depth. So what I'm about to discuss is amateur linguistic analysis.
It's a great theory.
Your own conclusions. But what we're talking about here are the two statements, one from Prince Harry and one from Dr. Sophie, that they released upon the announcement last week that the Charity Commission was opening up an investigation into the running of Centre Bali. And the two statements are quite stark in terms of their differences. And so when you look at Hazard's statement, the first thing that he talks about is the inception of Centre Bali nearly 20 years ago. It's not until you get to, let's say, the second half of his statement that he then addresses the Charity Commission investigation. Mm-hmm. Now, in the first half, he's talking about himself in the first person. You know, I've had a clear goal, blah, blah, blah. So it's all in the first tense, mm-hmm. First person. Mm-hmm. When you then go to the second half of his statement, it's then in the third person. Mm-hmm. And that's when he starts talking about and acknowledging the investigation from the Charity Commission into Centre Bali. Mm-hmm. So he says, we share in the relief that the Charity Commission confirmed that they'll be conducting a robust inquiry. Mm-hmm. We share in the relief. Mm-hmm. He's gone from I in the first part of the statement to we in the second. Mm-hmm. And so... my theory goes that he's beating around the bush in the first part of his statement because he's scared of acknowledging the Charity Commission investigation. Mm-hmm. Why? What has he got to hide? Furthermore, when he talks about the Charity Commission investigation, he talks about it in the third person. We, as a collective. And when you think about it, naturally, we feel more safer when we're in a group of people rather than when we're on our own. Mm-hmm. That's just human nature. Mm-hmm. So why doesn't he feel safe enough to stand on his own 2 feet in the statement and say, I share in the relief that the Charity Commission confirmed that they'll be conducting a robust inquiry? Mm. To start difference, let's say, to Dr. Sophie's statement, where right off the bat, she says, I welcome the charity's decision to proceed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She says, again, in the first person, she's taking it head on, first thing that comes out of her gob. Mm-hmm. To me, her saying it first, right off the bat, first sentence in, I welcome this, to me indicates that she's gung-ho for it. She definitely welcomes the Charity Commission's investigation. She's not afraid of it. And that she really does think that this investigation is going to help.
Yeah.
Time will tell what this investigation will bring about, but this is the thing. I used to be a trustee on a charity. Furthermore, I actually used to be their honourable treasurer. So I am very familiar about the inner workings of the finances when it comes to a charity and how that aligns with the Charity Commission regulations, but also as well the Charities Act. And when they come in and they do an investigation, it's like having 1,000 colonoscopies all at once.
Yeah, I heard that.
They go in. No stone will be left unturned. And so for me, in Hazard's statement, his hesitation to address the Charity Commission's investigation until the second half of his statement and changing the tense from first person to like third person, from singular to being in a group. Yeah, he's not happy with this. He's scared as to what's going to be found out as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. Takes me back to the, what was the other one? Africa Parks. Takes me a little bit back to that as well. Yeah, so, and I also, for my little community that most of my community watch you, and I've been very excited to see you on my channel, so I've been so honoured to have you here, Steph. I really am. I don't want to keep you too long because I can see you're not feeling too great, but I thank you so much for coming on, speaking to my little community, and thank you so much, and I'll leave you to it. I hope you feel better, darling.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's absolute pleasure to have you. All right. Thank you so much, Steph. Much love. What an absolute honour that was. Anyway, I just want to say, anyway, I will be back with another Sussex video that you know that I'm doing. You know I've got things going on, but you know I will get it to you guys very soon. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and much love.